Welcome to iPad Pros, the show all about using your iPad to be productive and get work done. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show.
Hello there, welcome back to another episode of iPad Pros. In this episode, we're joined by Matthew Poplin to dive into kind of his use of the iPad, a lot to dive into here, as well as Beta 6 just dropped and some fun discoveries there. So we're going to be diving into all that coming up. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's my discussion with Matthew. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast, Matthew.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff in iPad land. We're coming up on the end of the beta cycle. We just got a new beta today.
Yes.
And you found a couple cool things that we'll dive into in a little bit here. But yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Hot summer day.
Oh, yeah. Today was very humid and not so nice. I'm up in the Boston area, and it gets pretty hot this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
So for those that don't know you, most people probably, unless they stumbled across your Mastodon or whatever. What's your background and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I work in a pharmacy in a hospital. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I just use an iPad as pretty much my main computer for probably 98% of the time.
That's awesome. In both day job and personal life, yeah? Or what are you able to use day job wise? I know pharmacies probably have.
Good old Windows.
Okay, I love
Yes.
Windows, right? Yeah. It's not Windows XP, is it, or what they run these days?
No, they just got to 11, and that was a fun transition.
I bet, yeah. But there is like an iPad app you mentioned, the NetX Tray Safe Mobile.
Yeah. So we have, how do I describe this? We have emergency kits for patients that are like coding and that need emergency medications on the go. It could be NICU, it could be for ER, ICU, and we have a Linux machine that takes pictures of it. We can scan, but we could also do that from the iPad. And majority of the time, we use an iPad to hover above it and take a picture, and it reads all the labels on the medications, and it prints a whole paper. And we could just blast it on our tray and go.
That's cool. And as far as how this all works, is there a QR code involved in this, or like is it actually reading?
Yeah, no, it's a QR code. Yeah,
that makes sense for accuracy, right? As like the way to do that.
Yeah, correct. So we would take the medications. So we'll get like a box of like 20 of epinephrine, and we'll take a picture. Scan the box and put in the lot number, the expiration, and how many labels we need printed, and have a pharmacist come and check it. And then once they check it, we can go ahead and put the QR code on each of the medications, and that's when we would take a picture of it with the iPad or our Linux machine.
Gotcha. Nice. Very cool. And then, any other just iPad usage in general at the hospital you work at that you can recall? I don't know how far-reaching iPad is in that environment at this point.
Yeah. I would say between the iPad and the iPhone is probably are the majority of things in the hospital that we use. So doctors have iPads for patient charting and documenting what's going on during surgery. So for example, today I was in the OR and we had doctors doing surgery, but also going and documenting things coming to us saying, hey, we need this medication. Here's what this patient's on. And they're able to do that with an iPad instead of having a computer sitting there, not be able to be mobile. And it's very nice because they can document it, place it on the charger dock, and then walk away, pick it up tomorrow, and keep on going.
Nice.
Yes.
Charger dock. They're plugging a wire into it, I assume, or is it some?
It's something. Maybe it's from MedX or something like that. It's a big docking station that has like 20 chargers, so it's like kind of very corporate.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the latest products from which company was it? Someone's using finally the smart connector, the charge iPads now. The iPads, yeah.
I seen that and I was like, oh, it's not LG finally.
Right. And because I remember, so it's fond memories of that Logitech charging base for the older iPads.
Oh yeah, Logitech.
Yeah.
That was my favorite back in the.
It was such a cool product. It had a weird side effect that I think potentially damaged my screens. Like I could see at the very bottom where the charging was some white I don't know, side effects. I'm not sure if that's related at all to that or not.
Because you used that with your 10.5-inch iPad.
Yeah, that's the one I noticed with the 12.9. I did not. Yeah, I'm curious if there was. It wasn't a huge deal, but I wonder if that was a side effect of that.
I wish we had more of those. We need more smart connector docks.
Yeah, those were so cool. And back in the day, because it was on the side of the iPad, you could use either size with the same accessory, which was nice. Now everything is so custom built since smart connectors in the back somewhere. And I'm trying to think of the utility of this new thing, because when would I not just want to plug in the USB-C cable to my iPad to do this?
Was that the thing where it placed on the back and it looks like a cable hanging off or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just hanging off the back, which I guess it would just magnetically come off, so no tripping hazard. But
the cable's not that long.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, I find it very cool with the stands, especially that I think that company's also doing, where you can magnetically mount your iPad to a stand and it charges. That seems more utilitarian versus,
very. And I think that's the thing I love about the iPad is all accessories and how far of a range we can go from it being a simple tablet to a main computer, as we both know.
Yeah. So how long have you been using iPad as like a productivity machine in your life?
I want to say before the iPad Pro was announced, what was that, 2015
or 15? Yeah, 15, 17 was second gen. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the main. Maybe it was iPad Air
2.
What it was? Yes.
The Air 2. That was the one that had all that RAM and all that. Yeah.
Unknown RAM, but then this is why. But yes, that was.
Yep.
That was probably the 2015 iPad Pro was probably the big one, because I went ahead and bought that probably a month after it came out, and then we went to Mexico for about 30 days, and then all I brought was the iPad, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna live off this.
Yeah.
That was something, because as you know, iOS 9 was definitely
you had that wonderful slide over tray for multitasking.
Yes.
That was a thing. I did not really enjoy that way of doing things.
I kind of like it.
The slide over tray?
Yeah. But it was just weird. All that is always so weird to look at all the multitaskings we've gone through after all these years just to get to where we're at today.
Yeah, it's wild we don't have split screen anymore. That's just gone.
I don't.
That was my favorite way to just fluidly move through things, and it's kind of there. You can throw apps to the side of the screen, but it's a little different as far as there's no dedicated split screen mode.
I don't miss it at all.
You don't miss it at all. Yeah.
No, I think where we're at right now is probably the best it could be.
Yeah, it seems like the least confusing, right? You can do single app mode, which is nice if you're handing it to a kid, and then you can turn on the powered mode. And I discovered, I guess this has been prior betas, but if you tap and hold on the whatever stage manager multi-window thing in Control Center, you can actually switch between. Let me go from from stage manager to just a single window to environment, which is cool. Yeah,
so you switch between all three: window mode, stage manager, and full screen. And that makes it so nice.
Yeah, because I thought, you either pick stage manager or the window mode, and then that toggles it on or off. But yeah, there's a way to actually do both, which is cool.
And I wonder if there's a way in shortcuts to activate that as well. You dock it to your LG monitor or whatever, and it automatically does window mode. But then when you take it off, it does stage manager or something like that.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's some way.
That'd be neat. Yeah. Do you have a preference one way or the other as far as stage manager or the just single stage, I guess is what you'd call it?
At first, I think beta 3, I was like, stage manager is the way to go because it feels like a Mac with spaces. But the more and more, I think window mode is actually probably the only way to go.
Why is that for you?
For me, I think because I don't want too many windows on the screen, and it just reminds me of the Mac. It's like, okay, here's all the windows. and then we could just go ahead and play with it, go do everything, and then throw stuff away instead of like, oh, here's a stage for social media, here's a stage for
I
this.
see. So you'd rather just have what you're working on there and open and
Correct, yeah. But I think maybe with the background task, maybe it's worth it to go back to Stage Manager. And I think that's where we're at now, is trying to figure out what is best before we actually get all the goodies.
Yeah, it's interesting because the background task thing,
Mhm.
if you're on a single stage, doesn't really matter because the apps are still open. But if you switch stages, then the background task thing could actually be kind of useful, where you
Yeah.
just have Final Cutter, transcriptionist running in a different stage in the background, and that would be neat.
And
Yeah.
I wonder how much it could take before it crashes. That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see how many background tasks you can run at the same time.
I think I think it was last week I tried. I was like, oh, let me download a big file, because I think you were talking about it last week with Mike. And it was very much like, okay, here's a big file. Let's download it from Safari. Okay, now how do you get to the menu bar? Well, that whole live activity is taking up most of the tops. So I was like, okay, what happens if you slide it up to like dismiss it? But it's like,
Does
oh,
it cancel it?
It did not. There's
Oh,
actually a
that's
new indicator
Yeah.
on the top right. It's like blue. So I'm like, that makes it really nice.
Good. Yeah. And yeah. I guess Beta 6 came out, and something that you noticed right away. So the
Yeah.
preview app, we got a lot of just a very whimsical new update to this thing. So you got the little glass. What do you call this? Magnifying.
Is it magnifier, or is it like a ink, like in the old days where you used to dip like your pen into, like back in what, the 1800s? What, I don't know what would you call this?
Well, I don't think it's that, because it's preview. It's about looking through, I don't know, like images and stuff. So I
True.
think it's, I don't know. It reminds me of, you have it down. You can. I think it's a magnifier of some kind. But basically, the app icon. There's that item that's in the app icon that you can just move around, and it's just very delightful.
It's weird, if you move it, if you're holding it, move it down, you can kind of see a frowny face on the top of it when looking down at it. But it's nice because like you can put it over your files and kind of get like a weird, what would you say, a chromatic aberration of like the files. It's
Yeah,
fun.
and on the rim of it, it says preview 10x. So that's a 10x magnification, is my understanding based on that.
That's cool. That's really cool. And then you can throw it around. That's awesome. It's different. And
yeah, it's fun.
We need this.
Definitely. There's not enough fun in Apple software. It's like it's so sad to me that I can't hold down the shift key while hitting minus on the iPad and make things go slow motion like the Mac used to be able to do.
Oh yes.
Like why can't we have the slow motion genie effect on the iPad? That seems like a no-brainer to have there.
Because you're probably gonna hold shift down when you click an app, and then it's what, Stage Manager. What is it? Shift that does it? That opens it.
It used to be shift. I think it's actually disabled on the Mac now, and you need to like go in terminal to turn it back on.
Oh no, for like Stage Manager on the iPad, to open up the app in the exact same space.
Oh.
Is it shift, or is it?
I think it is shift.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, there's not enough whimsy, and this is
No.
nice to have that back here.
And it still has glass on it.
Yes, it's very glassy.
And maybe-
app.
And maybe that's why they brought it to the Mac. Or
It's
the
like,
iPad.
oh, this is the whole thing. Yeah, this is total glass. Yeah, and then we got this nice like intro video thing that kind of demonstrates the new features and stuff in a very simple way.
I think the one that was disappointing in it is the mail and notes. I'm like, why do you have to put the search thing there? Why mail and notes? But I guess it's a very popular app, both of them.
Yeah, I am constantly still looking at the wrong place of my apps for search. It's like, oh, it's at the bottom now.
Yes. Or like on the iPhone, when you have like music app open, you have those two X's when you search for like an artist, and you're like, okay, which X do I click? Do I click the big one or this little small one that's in the exact same text field?
Yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah. Anything else on the latest betas or the update in general?
Nothing as far as it looks like, other than I think I don't know if you talked about it last time. When you hook up an external monitor, you get a menu bar on the external
Oh, that's
monitor.
right. Yeah, that's another recent change that's very nice where yeah, you always have a menu bar now when the external monitor, which that makes total sense to always have that
Yes.
showing.
Now, if we can activate Control Center and Notification Center from the external monitor and have it on the external monitor, that'd be great. But it goes right back to the iPad.
Yeah, and on the iPad, one thing it'd be nice. Oh, it does do it. So this would also tell you the active window based on whatever the menu bar is showing, that's also a nice thing to have.
Now, are you one of those like me where if I see something I can't unsee it, or?
That depends.
Okay, so if you have it on the external monitor and you have like 2 apps open or 3 apps, when you click it at the top of the menu bar, it like flashes, like refreshes, and it throws me off every single time.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is the new app, and
and I'm like, I wish it was kind of like the Mac. It just did it nice, but we'll take it for 1 year and see what happens next year.
Yeah, and it is interesting how everything's just centered.
Yes.
And I think it works great on the iPad screen. I don't know if do you think it's the right approach for the external monitor, having the menu bar centered like it is?
Yeah.
Because we don't have the menu items on the far right to deal with, so I guess it does make more sense to just center everything.
Yeah, and I guess because Notification Center and Control Center, but I guess, yeah, because that makes sense. But I mean, we'll take it until somebody ruins it.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you? Oh man, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Oh, do you miss? You use a keyboard, right, with your iPad?
A lot of the times. I use it a lot as a tablet. I only recently got the Magic Keyboard a month or 2 ago, actually.
Do you miss holding like Command or like the globe key to see all the shortcuts?
Not really, because the menu bar does that now, and it's nice that you can do it without a keyboard, which is cool.
I think the one thing I miss is the globe key commands, like all the shortcuts for the globe key. I think those are the biggest ones.
Oh, I see. Because it would tell you the system-wide things.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to actually look at the system-wide keyboard shortcuts now. That's kind of just gone.
Yeah, and no one's really talking about how to really use it or what to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can, in the window thing, we'll show you different globe things for window management. But there's other globe key things, I'd imagine, you can do in the system, right?
I think so, yeah. And there was like some weird keys that people are talking about, like globe, shift, left arrow does this and that. And I forgot what the shortcuts were.
Yeah, because that stuff is all, I think a lot of that is part of the window management, and that is all still available. If you just look at the window part of any single app, will have all that information there. So I'm curious what other commands might be missing from that section. Because I'm sure there are some that aren't a part of just the window management globe keys. But that's probably the bulk of them, which is... I still need to learn all that stuff because I'm a total... I'm throwing apps to the left or right and just using touch a lot, yeah.
But, it's nice to have that touch screen. And I think that's why people want a touch screen on a Mac so bad. It's so nice just to raise your wrist and just flick.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean... So, as far as your personal use of iPad, let's go over some of the stuff. I guess to start out, you've made an iOS app entirely on the iPad. I'd imagine. It's not. Yeah, so this is. I'm reading this now. It's not using Swift Playground. I'm not sure if that was involved. But it's like remoting into the M4 Mac Mini through Jump Desktop to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, so using like Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, every little thing I could use on the iPad, Pastel, and all these weird apps, which I guess we'll talk about in a couple minutes. And just Swift Playground, I think it's dead. I think the whole community agrees that app is pretty much dead in Apple's eyes.
It hasn't had big updates recently, is that right? Got a small one last year, I think.
I think 6 months ago, they finally released, what is it, 18? iOS 18, like SDK on it. After like 6 months, I'm like, okay, this feels like they're just messing around with it. And then they changed it from Playgrounds to Playground.
That's right, yeah.
And it was like, okay, come on. That's an Apple thing to do, but okay.
Yeah, I had such high hopes for that app when it came out, and like you can't do in-app purchases, you can't do subscriptions. It's such a weird, limited experience.
it's right now it should be like the app to do because it's right there. We're merging the iPad with the Mac in a little ways in the iOS, and it's like, okay, we have all this technology, we can close this with Swift UI and all these stuff, but it just Apple's so stretched in so many ways right now that if something has to be let go, that would be it. And it probably doesn't have much users at all.
I'd imagine it's mostly, kids, elementary school and middle school as they learn coding on iPads. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, that app came out, 4 years ago? 5?
Something like that, yeah.
And I remember when they were doing the whole, actually probably more than that because COVID was 5. So it was probably before then because they were doing the whole day at Apple.
Code.
Yeah. And all those fun classes. And that was, I mean, from what I saw when I went to Apple stores, those are nice, but not many people ever signed up. Maybe one kid.
Yeah. And the little game is actually kind of fun in Swift Playgrounds. Yeah. You're like moving the guy through the environment.
It's weird. Apple made a game for learning how to code, but yet they can't make games or do anything game-wise correctly.
Well, their heart's not in it,
No. They still need to buy Nintendo, right?
They do not, because then we would have no joy in the world because they would smother the joy from Nintendo. That's like, I don't know. I have strong feelings about Microsoft and their like just demolition of a lot of studios. And like, Rare used to be something, and now they're just like a Sea of Thieves developer.
Yeah, Rare. Oof. Man, now we're going sidebar.
I know. Rare. It's like, the N64 days were their golden era. Then they got bought by Microsoft, and it's like, what have they done since? Like, not much.
Not much, yeah. And maybe that is the greatest cash out as a company, but yikes.
Yeah. And then I always like to remind people that Steve Jobs introduced Halo to the world, and then Microsoft bought it. And I don't know what original things they've done. I'm sure they have some originality to them, but they seem to be. They're not like Sony. They're not a creative company. And Apple, I also don't think understands gaming in a way that I would want them to buy anybody of note.
And now they're remaking Marathon or something like that, and it's not looking too good.
Yeah, they're stealing art, Sony. Or Bungie is, I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. But
I was saying, the console
Apple should avoid. But they can make developer games. Those are fun.
Oh, yeah.
Get kids into coding. But so tell me about this app you made, and did you learn how to code to make this app? Is this a new kind of project of learning this skill set?
Yeah, it was something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've been putting it off. And watching a lot of people online talk about how AI's been helping him, I think it was Matt Birch. He was talking about
vibe coding and all that.
Yeah, and kind of was like, why don't I just talk and put a prompt in and see what happens? And I think that's the hardest thing was trying to go from step 0 to step 1 and being able to use AI for that to get to step 1 and then be like, okay, now I can take over and have fun and put my own twist on it was very nice. And it's an app pretty much for photographers, videographers, and stuff like that to put like a to-do list, but per events.
Okay.
And it basically, to me, I was just looking at reminders. I was like, oh, I want reminders for a shot list. But just mainly focused on all that stuff. It just very basic and just put it out there and see what happens. I think just this week 2 downloads from New Zealand and like Australia. I'm like, I'm not even advertising this app or anything, but yet people are downloading in China and stuff like that. I'm like, that's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Me personally, yeah, because I don't have a presence online, so just out of the blue seeing things like that makes it kind of
it's cool when you release stuff to see like the worldwide impact of someone over there is checking this out.
Yeah, and it's to me, I'm like, if I could release something, that's great. And also just to break, I guess, I don't know how to describe it, like, I guess the yoke or something like that of like, okay, now I'm over this fear of failure, which I'm already failing by not putting something out there. But okay, I put myself out there, it doesn't do great, which I don't care if it does great or whatever. Just put myself out there, get that self-doubt out, and just go ahead and make something else next. So I think that's my next thing is trying to figure out what else to make it. And 26 is not helping.
I'd imagine not. I'd imagine, is vibe coding even like, do they have the current SDKs in there to even like?
Probably not. But I think I watch I listen to a podcast, Compile Swift podcast, um, and those guys over there talk about vibe coding right now a little bit on 26, and it's very interesting because the model is not meant for 26,
Right.
or even like within the last like 6 months, but it's like trying to push it towards that. But I don't know much about AI other than what everyone's talking about of like, oh, you could make AI learn this documentation and it will reference that documentation.
Right.
I haven't done anything like that. I'm just typing a prompt, cool, something, copy
with
paste.
ChatGPT or what?
ChatGPT mainly. Yeah.
Okay,
I guess going back to like the days of being a script kid, you find a script online and it might delete your home folder, but it's worth it, right? We'll just break
Totally.
everything.
Yeah. I remember the good old days of in Leopard replacing the dock background with like a grass background or
Yes.
some other fun there used to be so much fun modification to like the OS. Yeah.
Yeah, people say there is now, but I'm like, how much is too much? Like Clack, I don't understand how that's like the number 2 app in the Mac App Store, but people love weird things, and that's great.
They do. So Jump Desktop is kind of your go-to remoting application. I used to use this app in the olden days because it was the only app that used the Citrix X1 mouse.
Yep.
So they lost that advantage. I guess they still have other advantages, like I think audio. They have some protocol to send audio to the iPad. What other things do you like about Jump Desktop?
Just a connection. I think there's a lot of security behind it. It's not really updated often. That audio thing is weird, but very good to have. I know Screens 5 is like the other one that would be great. For alternate for people, but it's a subscription, and Jump Desktop was not a subscription, so I kind of jumped on that. It's easier to set up and get going than setting up a Tailwind, VPN, or anything like that. And I don't got time for that. I just don't care.
Yeah, those are the two. Like I currently use Screens because they have a good Vision OS app, and Jump Desktop doesn't. But yeah, Jump Desktop, you just install the client and it just connects. You don't have to deal with any shenanigans to connect remotely, which is nice.
On Screens 5, have you used was it the drag and drop, dropping files between devices?
I actually haven't. No.
Okay. That's one I would like to learn, but figure out how to do, and if there's a way to do it in Jump Desktop, because right now I'm just throwing it towards iCloud. So I'll do a graphic, throw it on iCloud, then it'll be put onto the Mac, then I'll throw it onto Xcode. But if you could do drag and drop right into your desktop on Screens, that'd be great.
That'd be neat. I need to try that out because most of the time it's in my iCloud folder when I'm done with stuff. And you're using an M4 Mac Mini, so that's a recent-ish purchase.
Yep.
Was that going from no Mac to a Mac, or did you replace something for that?
No, so I went from a weird setup. I went from iPad Pro M1 and a Mac Mini M1 when they first came out. Loved them both, and this was during before iOS 16 was Stage Manager, or 17 was Stage Manager?
I forget.
I think 17 was Stage Manager. So at 16, I left the iPad community. I was kind of frustrated and was going like, hey, I need to get more into videography for weddings and everything. And the iPad was having some failures with LumaFusion, but no other stuff. So I left and I sold my iPad Pro M1, Mac Mini M1, and I got a MacBook Air M1. So I was like, for both those into just a nice computer.
Yeah.
And then I came back to the M4, to the iPad, back when the M4 was kind of released. Best Buy had an open box that was about $150 off, open box.
Nice.
And my wife was like, you should get it. I'm like, I don't really want an iPad right now, but she's like, you pick up mine all the time and you want to get back into it. I'm like, okay. I know what it was. It was buy an iPad, you're going to have to buy her a purse to make up for the purchase.
Sure. The open box Best Buy thing is legit a great thing to investigate. I got my Magic Keyboard for like half off, if not more. Like a lot of products, like you can get some decent deals and they're like brand new products basically.
Yeah, and it's scary too at the exact same time because you're like, is this legit? Is this not legit nowadays? Because I mean, I always bought new Macs and stuff like that from Apple Store. I never really bought it from Best Buy or Amazon or anything like that. But I know there's a lot of scams, but Best Buy has a good return policy, so
They do. I'll tell you, I went through the monitor I have. It's the Sony. What is it? It's Endzone M9 or something. It's whatever. It's the one that looks like a PlayStation, has the PlayStation stand. But anyways, their failure rate was not great. So I ended up getting like 3 or 4 open box, kept returning them, and eventually it was on sale for a brand new one for the same price as the open box. Is like, then I end up with a new one. And it's like, okay, this monitors, maybe open box is less. You'll probably have dead pixels in a lot of those things, so be careful with external displays.
Yeah. As long as you don't see them until someone points it out, then all right. Those dead pixels.
Good return windows also help with that. Yeah,
very.
But yeah, the iPad, that's the pro move of getting stuff a little bit cheaper, and you probably add Apple Care if you buy it direct from Best Buy. I think at time of purchase, and now with the Apple Care One thing, you can just add it if it's been within 4 years of you buying it, which is cool.
You jumped into that, right? The Apple
Care.
What?
Mainly because the Vision Pro, it's like I'm saving $5 instantly.
That makes sense. So I haven't bought Apple Care, and man, it feels like forever. Which is scary because I have a 3-year-old, so I probably should.
Yeah, I'm similar, but she doesn't let it. She doesn't get to. She does throw stuff. Thinks it's funny, but nothing too damaging so far.
Not until she finds out what the Vision Pro is. She's like, "Oh, what's this?" Drops.
Well, it stays in my little pillowcase, and she hasn't figured out how to open that up yet.
Yes,
which is good. Yeah, but I definitely got on that because it's like, oh, this is a really expensive device I can't afford to replace, and
I think when I had the MacBook Air, I was wanting to do exactly what you and Federico did, which is coming back up all of a sudden now. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah,
again,
someone did an even higher end version where they're like 3D printing stuff. It's like, oh, that looks even cooler than what I did.
I thought about that, but man, if I mess up, I'm never gonna let that one down.
Yeah, it's much better to do it with a already broken laptop.
Yes, and I tried searching for one online like you did, and that did not
nothing
happen.
Good. Yeah, it's really luck of the dice with like it does anything good on eBay right now for the price point you're looking for. And
are you still using it to this day?
Yeah, that's what I'm recording this podcast from right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does Universal Control work?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't figure out how to do that from my Mac to my iPad lately on 26. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been working flawlessly. And the cool thing is, I can even go from iPad to Mac. I don't know if I first have to do it from the Mac to the iPad to start off. But like, I'm gonna open up my iPad here, and I can just mouse right over. Let's see. Oh wait, no. I think you have to initiate it at first. Yeah, so you have to do it once from the Mac and then go to the iPad. But after that, once the session's open, you can use the iPad's trackpad and keyboard, which is kind of cool.
And you're still using that shortcut mechanism that talks AppleScript or something.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, just the headless MacBook Air, it's great with just an external display. Because you're basically just like, here's my keyboard and trackpad with an external display, and then you can take up and walk with it and stuff too. And
you have your OLED Mac ready to go.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. But
how does since you use a touch Mac, quote unquote, how does iPad apps work on the Mac with a touchscreen, kind of, or do you not really use it that way?
iPad,
so like let's say you download Ferrite, or I think Ferrite has.
Oh, like on the Mac, I would never do that. I would never. Also, Ferrite is not enabled for the Mac because Canis is very particular about what Ferrite runs on. To the chagrin of many Mac users. But you can use the Apple Pencil in Mac OS.
Okay.
So if you're using what's that name of where you have the
continuity
or no? The name of where you have the Mac display showing up on the iPad screen.
Oh. It's not handoff, not continuity, man. What?
Why am I spacing on this? This is such a weird thing.
It's on screen. not screen mirroring.
Sidecar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you're using Sidecar, you can use the Apple Pencil to interact with every element of the Mac, and Hover lets you move the mouse, which is a new thing with Hover, yeah.
And Jump Desktop does the exact same thing, too, where you use
isn't that
Apple
nice?
Pencil.
The Hover,
yes.
it's like now I know I hover so cool. It's like stuff like this, yeah.
Very. Do you use your Apple Pencil for anything else?
Ferrite is the main thing I use it with because it's such a nice editing.
I feel
experience.
like we need a podcast episode about you again, about how you use your iPad, because I know you use like the Ferrite with like double tap, the squeeze, and everything, and like gestures.
Ferrite's just a fun like showpiece of like what iPad apps can do if the developers think about it properly.
Yes.
Yeah. You also do some with Ferrite, is that right?
Yeah, I was editing podcasts off of Ferrite, and that was always great to be able to use it laying down, double tap on the pencil to play, pause, squeeze it, go back, delete a clip. I think I forget what his name is. He's a YouTuber. He always talked about Ferrite and how he uses like the Apple Pencil, 2-finger gestures and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, it's so and I love that the whole thing keyboard shortcuts. You can just assign them to whatever you want, and
it was always great to like go to a restaurant for lunch, wait for food to come, and just edit podcasts real quick and just enjoy it. I remember back before it was 2 times speed, and then now when they added that was great.
That was such a godsend because that came out when my daughter was born. It's like, oh, thank God, I get to save time as this is happening.
And then they have third-party audio extensions they use. So like I use
Brushfree. Yeah, you use Brushfree and
Brushfree. Yeah,
with Brushfree, I've tried it within Ferrite, but it's just not. It flakes out often enough where it's like, oh, if I need to use Brushfree, let me do that first. Import that in the Ferrite, and then I'll deal with it in there. Yeah.
I used that app back when iOS 15, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how it is now. And then now with all the windowing and everything we're having, it's gonna be so much better to have like all these weird extensions. It used to be horrible back in the day of like using one app to do something. Use the share sheet, throw it to this app, and do all that stuff. And I remember having to use you ever heard of an app called Opener?
No, I've not.
Okay. Opener is a very interesting app. So let's say I send you a TikTok link, which I don't know why I would do that.
Sure.
But I send you a TikTok link, and it opens up on the web browser. Well, you want to open up on the TikTok app. You would use the share sheet and just do Opener, and it would automatically give you a list of TikTok, this, and this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was really nice. Now, luckily, we can get rid of most of that because it used to be I had to use that for JPEGs, PNGs, WAV files, stuff like that. Whenever we weren't able to select, this app needs to open up this format. But now with 26, we can just get rid of that and go over to this.
Mostly. One very annoying thing, like, I don't know if this will change in the fall, but like, open with a WAV file. Ferrite is not on that list currently. It's like, it's so annoying what apps like register. Oh, I can open that. Yeah.
I wonder, that has to be a developer thing then.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, and I feel like he would probably do that.
Yeah, my current options for opening up an audio WAV file is VLC is the default for some reason. I never use VLC really. Backbone, the gaming controller thing, Brushfree, Cubasis 3, Cubasis 3LE 3, Devon thing, Documents, Doppler, Downcast, Dropbox, Fourscore. I got like all these apps. Some are like weird apps, like iMovie. I guess I can open a WAV file in there.
I have one like Text-Tastic, and I'm like, why a text editor wants a WAV file? But
yeah, Unzip is in there. Like this isn't. What am I gonna do? Like zip this up and unzip? I guess I don't know.
But I love how Dropbox is always there.
Oh yeah, it's like I can open anything. I've not used Dropbox in like probably 5 years.
I pay for it. I should need to cancel each month. I'm like, I gotta cancel this, and I'm like, well, it's too late now. They already took out the $10 or whatever.
Yeah, I remember back in those olden days where you could have the 2 gigabytes, then you do all these like it was like basically internet games. You can get free storage, so it was just slowly adding up to different amounts. I forget how much I'm up to now. Yeah.
I mean, now I feel like I just use iCloud. I know like a lot of companies use Dropbox. I know some people use Drive, and I can't stand Drive, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because it feels like it takes up part of your space, but it's not yours.
Yeah, I just looked at it. My Dropbox account has 14.35 gigabytes available as a free account. I don't know if that would be even possible to try if you started a brand new account today trying to get up to there.
Probably not.
And they have this stupid device limit now. I've got 3 devices that maxed out. It's like, what do you do in Dropbox?
Good old Dropbox.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, and I've got a 6 terabyte iCloud account, which is ridiculous. And yeah, I wish I could weave out some data from that.
6 terabytes?
Yeah, it's not a good scene there.
No, I can't imagine what that looks like. Like someone just opens it. Is it just a clown car that just overstuffed, or?
I mean, part of it is the fact that the Vision Pro is like a 1 terabyte backup. iPad Pro is also like the backup situation is just problematic. It drives me insane that Apple charges iCloud space to back up your devices. Like, I get it, but it's also like, oh, come on, guys.
It's a subscription. Don't you know it's a service? Yeah,
it is. It totally is. Yeah, my storage. I'm using 4.6 out of the 6 terabytes. My family's using 1 of the terabytes, so I'm using 3.6 terabytes.
Where do you see this at?
If you go to your iCloud part in settings, you can go to storage.
There it is.
So 1.8 terabytes is just backups.
I'm at 159 gigabytes out of 250.
That's wild, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, 7 gigabytes of messages, which I don't know why I have 7 gigabytes of messages, but that's,
My Apple Vision Pro is 658 gigabytes for its backup.
Jesus.
My XDR M1 iPad Pro is 577 gigabytes. The M4 is another 509 gigabytes. Like, I'm using, like, these backups are just not.
And it's probably, like, years after years of just stuff that you don't need, unless maybe it's all the files.
Well, it's
data.
like ferrite. It's like, I was like, I should probably offload some stuff. And photos is another 800 gigabytes. You know,
what iPad are you using?
The 11-inch M4 iPad Pro.
But like storage space?
1 terabyte.
Okay, that's.
Yeah. So the more space you have, the more you fill up. Obviously.
Yep.
Then I have 137 gigabytes of iMessages.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to turn off iMessage from this headless MacBook Air because it was complaining I had no space at all on it. And I look up at Daisy Disk, and 85 gigabytes was just iMessage. This is a 256 gigabyte SSD on this thing, and the Mac OS decided, let's take up, a third of it with iMessage?
And let's all of a sudden give you all these notifications on messages that you've gotten within the last 5 days. All of a sudden,
not So that whole thing is just. I wish there was more management in iPad OS as well of like limit iMessages to 20 gigabytes locally. Same thing with photos. Photos should have like limit this app to 20 gigabytes of cache or whatever whatever it needs to be.
Like within the last 5 days, like these photos in the last 5 days saved to the device, or these favorites. But it's like, oh no, we're gonna do this, and it's
we'll automatically manage this for you and just take up all your space. Yeah.
And then you're recording, and you're like, oh, I'm out of storage space, but I'm really not out of storage space. It just wants to take everything and just put it onto the device for no reason.
That's the problem with this local recording option is like. It tells. I don't think this has changed. It doesn't tell you how much space to expect a recording to take up when you start a new local capture. You point out there's an audio-only mode, which is super nice to have.
Yeah, but the toggle is still broken.
It's still broken?
Yeah,
they got some time. It's funny. Yeah, I can toggle it, but it's not green like you'd expect a toggle to be.
So it's like, is it on? Is it not on?
I haven't tested that yet.
And I'm scared to test it on today.
Yeah, no. It's but yeah, that local capture thing. I'm glad the audio only thing is there because it's great to have video capture, but it takes up so much storage. It'd be hard to use for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. How in the M4 iPad came out, you got it. Was it mainly the hardware revision, or was the OS improving at a pace, or like, this seems like I might want to use this again?
It was FOMO. It was the fear of missing out again. Of like, people are talking about this great iPad that this M4 chip is the only thing on it, and how fast the machine is, how great it is, and just one day got off of work and went to Best Buy, and I was like, let me just walk around, test out iPads again, and have fun with this. And there was just open box just laying there in that little little box they have that you can look into and see like, oh, there's a MacBook Pro from I don't know, the Intel ones that are still on sale for $1,500 for no reason. But then there's this iPad just sitting there for a couple $100, and I'm like, this seems like a great device to have again in my life, and I really want to be more mobile again instead of at my desk or being able to like just be around my kid and go out and have fun. And I think that's the reason why. It's that it's the being able to be mobile and just change it from an iPad to a tablet to a desktop to whatever I need it to be at the time, where the Mac just can't be everything. It's just the Mac.
Yeah. Is the Mac Mini as cute as it looks?
I think so. I like it.
Yeah.
It's cute and it has all the cool stuff for it. I do miss the other one, but I know everyone says this one's smaller. Like, I mean, smaller width, of course, but like height-wise, it's a little tall.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the Apple TV hockey puck that everyone thought we were going to get for the longest time.
Right. No. It is. It seems easier to if you wanted to tape it places you could.
I'm surprised they haven't updated. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't updated the Apple TV in a while.
Yeah, it's probably due for something at some point.
I don't know what they could do with it, but hey,
make it more powerful to do what it's like my Apple TV can't run Snoopy, so I'm very upset by that.
And maybe that's where the A18 chip that everyone's thinking it's going to Mac is going. It's actually to the Apple TV.
That'd be interesting for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I wish that Mac Mini could be powered over USB as its power source. That's such a bummer. You can't just like plug it into a power brick.
There's videos online where you can do stuff like that, but it's a lot of hacks of using an AC adapter or whatever it is to like a hub that powers via USB-C to plug into the iPad. I'm like, okay. And I think it was on your podcast talking about I forgot his name, who uses Apple TV like on the go.
Oh yeah, Sigmund.
Yes,
and Magic Razor Light. Yeah,
and that's crazy. But I love that. That's the power of the iPad. Of how can we just modulate this to be super different but super fun?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. This is kind of like how we back in the day we used to have a PC, like a Gateway PC, which rest in peace Gateway, and we could just tear it apart.
Yeah, the cows.
Which AOL dial-up is finally dying.
I know. You've Got Mail. We should all watch You Got Mail again. That was such a classic movie. Boy. You mentioned you edited podcasts for the iPad. What kind of shows were you working on?
Yeah, so I am on a podcast from time to time called Forwards Podcast, and it's about League of Legends, teaching people how to like go from not really knowing the game to somewhat knowing how to do the map, how to play. And League of Legends is MOBA, multi-online battle arena,
Yep.
And it's fun.
They're games that scare me just looking at them. It's like, I'm not a 18-year-old with
yes. and that's what I need now. It's like, okay, I'm getting kind of old. I need to put stuff away. So I haven't really been on there lately, but it's always been fun to edit that podcast, but also talking to people who are growing up with that game, and it's like, man, that game's been out for 15 years like that, and it's crazy. It's the exact same thing with like all these Call of Duty games. Like man, all these kids are playing it. I can't even focus straight now correctly. Like everything's moving so fast, and I'm like, what's going on?
Right. There was a TV show about one of the MOBAs. I forget. I forget which one. It was very engaging about just these different esport players and
The esports was like a big thing for a while, and then it seems like now it's dying off. Which, okay, I know overseas in like Japan and China, they were talking about making this like real sports, and they have like real arenas and everything. But um, they were saying this is going to be like Olympics type stuff, and it didn't take off until about before COVID, and COVID kind of took that out.
yeah, it's called Players on Paramount
Players.
Plus. I'm not sure if you've seen this. Follows
No.
League of Legends team looking to win its first championship after years. Their prodigy, a 17-year-old rookie, and their 27-year-old veteran must put aside their egos and work together. It was very, very
Does
good.
this does it say what team?
Let's see. It stars Misha Brooks, DeJor Jones, and Eli Henry. Do those names those at all familiar? Cream
looking.
Cheese is a name I'm seeing here. But yeah, very, very. Even if you don't care about MOBAs,
Yeah.
very good show. Paramount Plus. I would,
Gotcha.
as you're watching South Park and Dexter Resurrection, load that one up too.
I haven't watched the newest stuff with Dexter. After that last season of the original show, that show kind of died mentally for me.
Dexter Resurrection is firing on all cylinders, I must say. So if you have any interest, definitely worth checking out as a random side tangent in this show. But yeah, it's very well done.
Okay.
Yeah. Dexter's back. It's funny. Michael C. Hall hasn't aged like a day in like 20 years.
No, he has not. There's some people who they get older, they look better, and
Exactly. Yes.
I don't understand how they do it.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. So, LumaFusion. You'd use that in conjunction with the podcast stuff, or?
LumaFusion, I was using it for wedding video editing. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was like the only editor at the time where you could take a C log, or like even like a Sony RAW file and throw it in there, and then Rec 709 it and just mess with it, and it would just handle perfectly on the iPad. I don't have a subscription to Final Cut on the iPad.
Yeah, I don't either. I turn on every now and then to play around with it. I don't do enough video editing to make it worth it. It's so. I really wish we could just buy that app.
Yeah.
Kind of like my Mac. I bought the Mac version like 2010. So 15 years later, still getting updates on that sucker.
Yep, and it's great. Love it.
Yeah.
And I supported LumaFusion very early because they were like, "Hey, we're taking the iPad serious." And then there was a time when they talked about making the Chrome. Maybe not Chrome. It was an Android app and Chrome OS app.
Yeah.
And that kind of took them out of it for a while. And that's when their app started kind of failing for a lot of iPad users at that time. And I think maybe that was back in 2022.
Yeah, they really lost a bit of focus.
Yeah. And Final Cut, we're still waiting for third-party plugins, right?
Yeah, it's coming soon.
Coming soon.
As Apple said. Yeah, coming soon. Yeah, Final Cut's such a weird. It's very touch friendly, but it's also like I wish you could also be as keyboard friendly as the Mac version too. But it seems to be more.
And then there's the other little one in the corner, DaVinci Resolve, who keeps getting great updates, and I just don't know how to use that app at all.
Yeah, I love the app, but also I don't know how to use it. And the latest update adds a whole new set of tools from the Mac, I think, right?
Yeah, they used to like hide stuff, and you had to put like a keyboard configuration, open these things.
Yeah.
And now
it's
there's
like
more
cheat
stuff.
codes. Yeah.
Yes. Up, down, down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to unlock different panes from the Mac that weren't. Basically, my understanding is they weren't fully testing the iPad, but you could get them to work if you really wanted them, kind of thing.
You know what? They're probably the only developer I know that's like putting out iPad and like desktop all at the exact same time, or at least within a week of each other. Of like, hey, here's a new release. Hey, here's this.
And yeah, in the video realm. The other one in the music notation realm that does that is Dorico. They recently came out with like the iPad version. It was a couple of years ago, but now with every major revision to Dorico, the iPad version also comes out with a big update that matches the user, the features and stuff. So
I think music's always very interesting on the iPad. There's a lot of things, a lot of apps that are very
such perfect
unique.
fit there.
Yeah.
And then Affinity apps. I've always just dabbled with these, but they're very scary with that menu bar.
Yes. Very, very scary. And then also just their weird personas and all that weird stuff they have, like those little edit screens. It's just weird, but it's better than paying subscription for Lightroom and Photoshop, even though they're getting better, the app-wise, but I'd rather just give it to Affinity, who I know if I pick it up on a Mac or a Windows PC, it's the exact same.
Yeah, and you can see the same files across Designer, Photo, and Publisher. I think those are the 3 apps, yeah.
Yeah, Publisher is that one that no one really talks about, except for people who really love Publisher.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's the only app of its class on the iPad, to my knowledge, right?
Yes,
There's
as far as I'm aware. Yeah. Because it's what, InDesign's
yeah.
alternative? Yeah. Okay.
And that there's no InDesign from Adobe for iPad, to my knowledge. Yeah.
Maybe soon. I mean.
Yeah, no. Is there anything about the Affinity apps outside of like, they're great and powerful? What do you use them for in particular?
Mainly video, not video, photo creation, photo editing, throwing like raw files at it, but mainly making icons has been the biggest thing for making the app.
Yeah.
In between that and I would use Procreate, but Procreate, that's another bag.
Yeah. There's Procreate, the animation tool as well, which I'm just not talented enough to use those apps. I've tried several times. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, people know how to use those apps so perfectly for, instead of using After Effects, they use that for things, but also even like a Procreate, just using it for logo design. There's a YouTuber I follow, I forget his name. He uses like Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, Procreate for like logos and like making fonts and stuff. And I'm like, that's amazing, but that's not up my alley at all.
Yeah, no. And you also use Photomator, which is my favorite photo editing tool. Hopefully Apple doesn't destroy this lovely app.
Well, they can destroy the app, but just bring Pixelmator Pro. That would be fine with me. Okay. That's one. I mean, Photomator's good. It has its course.
Yeah, it's design. It does what it's supposed to do. It's like exactly. It's a photo editing tool versus. Yeah,
it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
Pixelmator. I love Pixelmator. I used to really like Pixelmator on the phone back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think once they started coming out with like Pixelmator Pro and all that stuff, they kind of said, let's just throw this iOS version to the side for a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a legacy tool. They had one big update in the past couple of years. It was like, oh, wow, it's still alive, I guess. Yeah.
Do you use Pixelmator Pro by chance on the Mac?
No, I never bought it.
That is a great thing to use. Even like I'm looking at right now on the App Store, and it does video editing and some other stuff, and it's very different. It's a full set design tool, and it's using Apple Intelligence, which I feel like Apple's now on the AI train. They're using that for every single app, or at least saying that.
Yes, everything's better with Apple Intelligence.
Whichever version ships, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's just, it's very nice to see all these weird apps happen. And for some reason, my HomePod just activated. Why?
It's got a mind of its own.
That's a sore subject in my household.
Yeah. Do yours have a live microphone? Because ours just act as AirPlay receivers, basically.
I think the minis do. I have 4 minis. I have 4 HomePod minis and then a big HomePod. The big HomePod, I love it for music.
Yeah.
The minis, they're all right. But anything other than music, I don't like it. I don't like talking to it. I'd rather talk to the Echoes instead.
Okay, yeah, ours are just all AirPlay speakers basically that we send stuff to versus like yelling at them.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we ever had them with the live mic, and our daughter figured out that you could talk to the speakers. I don't know what shenanigans that could get up to at some point.
Yeah, that's when you get those the Echoes for the kids that look like little animals, like little fox and penguin. Those things are cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's like you get down a deep rabbit hole down those, and
the
there's no going
Echoes.
back.
We've never owned an Echo.
Okay.
You can order stuff on Amazon from an Echo. Is that right?
I guess there's some weird stuff with like Amazon. Amazon is always weird. Like they have those little buttons that you can come out with, and you can place them like in your kitchen.
I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine, kid though, just boom, boom, boom.
Exactly. And there's some weird stuff like that. Like I remember at work a while back in a pharmacy, we had one of those Echoes, and I would try to order Mountain Dew just to see if it would happen. And sure enough, somebody would be like, "Hey, I see in my cart there's like 2 cases of Mountain Dew. Who the heck's trying to order this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." But yeah, no, Amazon's a weird company, but that's for another day.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, with remoting into Jump Desktop,
Yeah.
when you're hooked up to an external monitor, you'll be using your iPad stuff to do other things at the same time as using Jump Desktop, kind of full screen on the Mac or on the LG 5K.
Yeah, so I have an LG Ultrafine, and I will throw Jump Desktop either full screen or 3/4 of the screen.
Okay.
Of course, I think the photo I sent you of it is from iOS 18, which now it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
I had the the Mac Mini with the HDMI dummy to get different resolutions, and because it does not register. It's like, oh, there's this one resolution, that's it. And it's like, no, that's not going to take up the full screen of either the iPad or the LG. And I like to use just Xcode on Jump Desktop on the Mac Mini, and maybe some other stuff, but mainly it's just Xcode. And then I'll have like Discord open or have Safari open on the side. And then on my iPad, I'll have that iPad sitting right above my keyboard, which ergonomically is probably not the best, but I use a Apple Magic Keyboard external, and I'm able to have like palettes, fonts, and all this weird stuff, music, and I'm able just to reach up real quick, slide, find an artist real quick, and done. And what's nice is I can go, like, I can open music. I can go search on music by tapping it, and then I can use the keyboard to search for an artist without moving the mouse on the top. Type it, boom, and then I can move the mouse real quick and click on Jump Desktop without having to bring the mouse all the way from the far left to the far right, back, or even used to have the dock on the Mac on the bottom. That was not great. I'm a right dock now person.
You're right dock person.
Yeah, because I have my iPad either on the left, or below the Mac.
Yeah, I currently have mine on the bottom, but I was always a left dock person back in the day. Yeah.
And I have it hidden, so to me, I'm like, it just gets out of the way. It's easier. When I was a Mac user, it was on the bottom, always shown. It was a symbol, and I wish the iPad either you could hide the dock all the time, or you can bring up the dock always.
Yeah, it's basically behaves based on your window sizes, is my understanding, which is an interesting decision, I guess.
Which also I wouldn't mind it on the left-hand side on the iPad.
Yeah.
But it's very nice to have that fun experience of, oh, hey, here's an iPad on below, and here's a Mac. And this is the part where everybody would say, like, oh, you can just use universal control. Yeah, I could, but I could also pick up my iPad and just walk outside with it. And it's still connected. So that's my other thing, is just being able to have an always connection to a Mac, like a server, and just be able to write some code, flick it up, and go on with my day about something else.
And have you done much with local capture over the summer?
I done probably 20 minutes of using local capture.
Okay.
with how fast betas are coming out now, I don't know if I'm willing to take the risk yet. And I'm kind of waiting to see how everybody else is liking it or how everybody else is using it. And it
Yeah.
seems like people are saying it's all right and it's working, but there's still some gain effects and some things that it needs to have. Or like it
Mhm.
records mono but doesn't record stereo.
Which, news alert, most podcasts release in mono.
Yes.
I mean, part of it's part of it. Well, it saves a lot of data.
Mm.
Also, for spoken voice stuff, like you really don't want stereo. I remember back in the old days where with wired headphones, you'd have one hanging out of your ear,
Yep.
and the people that did a stereo mix where you it's like, where'd the other person go? It's like, oh, these idiots had one person each ear or something.
Yep. Or like back in the day when you listen to music from like the 60s, 70s, it's like the guitar is far left, one guitar is far left, and one of them's to the right, and
Yeah.
the beginning of the song you don't hear anything on the right earbud, and you're like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden the music jumps in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, download some of these podcasts are like 400 megabytes for these longer ones. Like, what are you guys doing? Why is this stereo? Why is it so high bit rate for? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. It's and I wonder how like local capture is going to handle, like, let's say using like a USB pre 3 and having like 3 microphones hooked up or 4 microphones hooked up. Say like how the people over at Relay, they have the Relay um well, they used to have like a big old meeting or like a big old event, and they used to like hook up their microphones to a computer. I wonder how that would be on an iPad now, but I don't,
Yeah.
because to me the advantage of the iPad is that solid state drive. You know, like how we used to have back in the iPods, and musicians used to use an iPod for backtracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, local capture seems very much designed for your one person on it doing your own capture, and everyone else has their own
Yeah,
devices doing their own capture. Yeah.
yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe next year. Maybe, and I feel like that's a sad thing we keep saying every year. It's maybe next year for something, but it'll probably be 2 years before we get anything, or maybe nothing on local capture ever again.
Yeah, hopefully it improves because there are definitely things it needs to improve on.
Yes.
And you run a Discord server for iPad
Yes.
folks. What is
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
I somehow back in like 2020 got sucked into an iPad like Discord that was like a Reddit Discord.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was the official one, and I was like, okay, this is great. And it was fun to be in there for a long time. I mean, we have like 3,500 users right now, but it doesn't feel that many people is like active. It's mainly like 7 of us or 10 of us that actually do
Mm-hmm.
stuff on there. But back in the day, it used to be like people were posting like their setups, all this cool stuff about iPads and stuff. And it was very kind of what brought me back to the iPad was because this Discord was posting, here's my iPad setup with this and this and this, and here's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing on my iPad. Or an iPad can't do X, Y, and Z. Well, okay. And it got to the point where they didn't have any moderators, and the person that was running it was like, "Hey, you're active on here. Let's make you a moderator, and let's have fun." I'm like, "All right, like I got nothing better to do. Like, this is what I enjoy is iPads." So it's it's great now, but it still has its quirks as any Discord on or Discord server. I don't see many people posting and stuff about like iPad games or iPad apps anymore like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need more spaces like this for people to talk about iPads, and that's why I appreciate you doing this podcast because people need to know more about why a $350 iPad is actually better than what you think it is.
For sure. And yeah, there's so many different keyboard trackpad options for that lower cost iPad as well these days. I
Yep.
mean, yeah. It does go well with the cost of the low cost iPads compared to the accessories you're going to buy for it
Yep.
at times if you're not careful. Yeah.
It's just it's always crazy. Like, but that would be a tangent for something else about why
Yes,
people
it would be.
don't respect the iPad. I guess.
Yeah, for sure. How's Discord moderating from the iPad itself? I use Discord as a user, but not like are the moderation tools on the iPad app okay?
I really haven't used like the moderation stuff, so like we still get spam
Yeah.
posts from like NSFW things of like, hey, join the server, and it's like, all right, I go to each one and delete it, but I know there's keyboard commands and there's some weird bot commands, and I haven't got on a computer to look and see how to done or how to even add it.
Gotcha. And then you have this like portable dock thing. I have this like Thunderbolt dock that's big and doesn't move anywhere, but it looks like you have this more mobile solution for weddings and stuff, or just offloading your camera stuff.
Mainly used for camera stuff, but it turned into be something great. It's a CalDigit Soho dock, and it's very small, probably the size of an iPod Mini, or not iPod Mini, maybe less smaller than an iPhone Mini, and it has a USB-C data port that was very nice to have, and then has like SD cards, has USB-A, has HDMI display port, and then you can also charge it and you can power through, which made it very nice for the iPad at first, because I could pop out the SD card on my Canon EOS R, throw it in there, do all this stuff, or have HDMI connected out. And it was very nice, like, hey, here is an iPad with one port that now has a full MacBook type setup. And it's very nice to have that and the dock, and it's like £1, just barely anything, and you can throw it into a backpack and just go, or even in your back pocket. And I know some people talk about like they hook up to 4K monitors with it, but I wish iPad would do that. Maybe one day.
Yeah, we're stuck with a single port, sadly.
Yes, and hopefully they don't do that with M5. Like, hey, 2 monitors, because I don't want to spend the money on that, but that might drive me to the M5.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm not sure if I mean, the M4 MacBook Air can drive 2 externals.
Yep. So with the software update, I think that was the one thing that was weird about that one.
Yeah. I think they backdated even to M3, which is interesting. And then tell me about this juiced system dock.
I could swear you never heard of this dock, because I've never heard about this.
I've never heard of the brand. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so my dad had this dock, and he was like, hey, I'm not using this. Here you go. And it is a big hub, I would say, but not too big, where it has
like a wedge shape, it looks like a little bit.
Yes. On the back of the wedge, it has 4 USB-A ports, and on top it has 4 USB-C ports, or 3.1. It works fantastic. It's external power, but also I'm plugged into my LG Ultrafine right now with it, and it powers it. So I'm able to throw things at that. Like I used to throw 3 external drives onto that hook up to my iPad. Do not recommend that. Do not recommend.
Yeah, it's not Thunderbolt, so the throughput's probably not great.
Yeah, and it did its job, but I do not recommend 3 external drives connected to an iPad. That is a big no. And it's nice because like right now I have my what is this, the MX Master mouse hooked up to it, and then I have like my keyboard hooked up to it, charging some other stuff like the Stream Deck and all this stuff, and I'm like, this is great to have this little hub that takes up 1 USB-C port on the Ultrafine that has multiple USB-C ports and multiple USB-A ports. It's a little expensive, but I guess it's Thunderbolt. I don't even know what this is. Thunderbolt, I guess. Is it not Thunderbolt?
I think it's USB 3.2.
Gotcha. Okay, yes. Which I know nobody is like coming up with things like this still to this day, right? Where multiple USB-C hubs.
That's right. You normally need Thunderbolt for that. That's unique in that regard. I kind of forgot that was actually not common.
Yeah. So this would be a good like base iPad or iPad Air type hub if you're looking for something like this, or even just for your Mac.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking for something like this the longest time. Then it's like, oh, let's just get Thunderbolt, and I've been very happy with the Thunderbolt solution. Which they're pricey, but they're reliable.
I haven't done that yet, and I'm kind of scared to do that. The only thing that I had Thunderbolt is the LG.
Yeah, you're looking at around probably the $200 range for a decent desktop Thunderbolt hub.
Yikes.
They might, yeah, I don't know, because it's older now. I wonder if they go on sale and I don't know, as they move inventory for new products. Maybe you can get lucky.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, how do you use the iPad for church? At church,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, so I used to do things for like multiple churches around Texas, and people use it for so many different ways. So most churches are using it for a check-in. So I use the iPad. I use iPad. Blah blah. Backtrack on that one. Churches use the iPad for checking in their children, mainly in some POS systems. So you'll like bring in your child to like church, go to kids center or whatever they call it for their special brand, and you'd be able to go over there, put in your phone number, and it will say, "Hey, here's what kids you have under your phone number," and then you can tap it, and it will print a label, and you just stick on the back of your kid, and I'll have another label for your kid, so in case they get rowdy, they have something on the monitor. But they would use it that way to check kids in, and also to keep track of like, hey, here's how many people we have in our congregation. But a lot of churches have been using iPads for a lot more things than the POS and checking. So some churches I know used to use it or still do use it as a backtrack for worship. So they would run stuff like either multi-tracks or prime music or prime multi-tracks, and they would be able to have, let's say they don't have a piano player or they don't have a orchestra type band in the background strings, and they'll have that in the background with a click track, but they'll split it, and they'll have from the iPad split to a splitter, and part of it will go to the console to be split to the rest of the band, and another part will go somewhere else. It's like a weird setup, but you're able to have in-ear monitors when you're playing on stage and be able to hear keys of the song like chorus 3, 4, and then they'll have the click going on in the background and you'll be able to hear everything. And it's very interesting because I know bands in like the early or mid 2000s were using iPods for this.
Right.
And they were using it because of that the solid state drives. And because it would not fail or it would not skip. I think that's one of the benefits of the iPad, and also what computers have gone for in the last 15 years of from regular hard drives to solid states. And I've seen churches use this and they just love it because they're able to just say, hey, you as the drummer, you as the keyboard player, just click this button, it'll go through everything, and then it'll go to the next track. You can do the next one. And then some of them are actually setting this up with their lights and everything too.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's all MIDI. So most of this will be like MIDIs. So they'll hook up like a MIDI pedal to like the iPad and be able to use the foot pedal and say like, okay, we're gonna start song 2, and it will count down, but it will also set up the lights and do everything. And it's very different compared to what we grew up with. And then there was a guy I seen before who used to have an iPad with him as a sound engineer, and he would walk around the auditorium and be like, "Oh, I'm over here on the far left side. How's this sound?" Well, it does not sound too great in this section, but it sounds great, of course, where I'm standing for when I'm mixing the audio. And he's able to kind of look at it around the auditorium and say, okay, so here's a dead area, or here's an area that's getting too much bass. How can we adjust that? And you're seeing a lot more people using all these DAWs and all these things to control an area of their church and auditorium to be, hey, very friendly, but very mobile, and allow them to adjust on the go.
That's cool. Yeah.
Very.
It's been a while, but I used to work at a church in the media department and stuff, and it's very nowhere near this technical with like what you could do from iPad at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like with Blackmagic, rightly, with all their stuff they're coming out with iPads that I'm very interested in if they're gonna bring more of their video stuff over to iPad. Like, hey, here we can stream off of this one thing. We can hook up this whole like, hey, we have all
videos and switching
yeah,
cameras and stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
maybe one day.
Yeah, no, hopefully. And then personally, you also used it for communication with your son. Is that right?
Yeah, so my son was diagnosed with autism probably about 5 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and still very new in the family. And our insurance actually provided us an iPad Mini for him to communicate with, and they use Prologue 2 Go.
Okay.
I think that's say it's like a $250 app.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
yeah, and there's a lot of other apps that do this, but this is like the app that everybody uses, or at least insurance provides, and it's a very interesting device and tablet to use of an iPad Mini, because I haven't had an iPad Mini in years. But seeing a 3-year-old walk around with an iPad and be able to say, "Hey, I'm thirsty, I need help," or anything when he's not verbal, and it's still a work in progress, but it's very interesting to see a child touch a screen and say, "Hey, I need this," when they can't communicate, and also they don't really know what a computer is. To them, this is just a tool.
Yeah, totally. My daughter. It's amazing how she's like 2.5, and it is interesting how kids just know how to use this without teaching them anything, pretty much.
It's so like little sidebar here. It's like it's so interesting that you as a parent can buy your kid a $350 iPad. I think it's $350 or $399, whatever the base model is. You can buy an iPad to help them communicate, but also it can do their homework when they get older. It lasts over 5 years. It can be everything from a basic YouTube device, a communicator, all the way to, hey, I do my work from here.
Totally.
And I can create things.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the benefit of the iPad that bloggers have been kind of bad about, because they're like, we want it to be the Mac, but you're forgetting about like all these people who use an iPad for a lot more than just as a tool for a device to make content. It's just more of a lifestyle and have to be done, a daily living.
Yeah. What did you get a case with the Mini, I assume?
Yeah, I'll just show you sooner or later. It came with a case all built into it.
Oh, interesting.
And so it has a kickstand.
Because you got the Mini through insurance or whatever, right?
Correct, yes. So it has a whole case, and you can't use your Apple ID or anything like that. It's like, hey, this iPad is only for this. And I'm like, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
Of course, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is pretty cool, this little light device that's very small. I don't know how it's going to be when it runs 26, or if it will.
Is it the one that looks like a Face ID iPad?
Face ID, Touch ID.
Does it look like a Face ID iPad, like it's a full screen iPad Mini, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if I will put 26 on it. I think this is going to be the one iPad in my whole house that's just going to stay where it's at, and that's it.
Yeah.
Until
it probably could, especially with single app mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure when we'll update the iPad Mini as well in our house.
And it probably, personally, I probably won't. I just won't take that risk. There's too much.
Because the app itself might not be compatible or something. Yeah. I guess is that app in the App Store? I assume, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I just look at release notes, and eventually it'll say, "Oh, updated for whatever."
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a crazy app. I mean, it's cool because you can do stuff where you can customize it with pictures of yourself, pictures of family members, pictures of food, so they can kind of like look at it and say, "Oh, that looks like mom," and it says "mom," and you can type in your own separate words into it, and it'll actually speak correctly. It won't sound like a robot. So it has like 20 or 30 voices. There's some weird ones, but most of them sound realistic to the point where it's like, okay, this actually sounds like what my kid would sound like.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah.
Very.
I need to try personal voice again with my own voice to see how far that's come with the later updates to it.
Yes. Is that the one where
you record yourself talking and it like gives you a virtual version of yourself?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a little weird, but I'm very very intrigued by it.
It seems like the thing that people would stop you from doing, like the movie stars. They're like, hey, we shouldn't have this type of technology for this reason. It's kind of there.
Yeah, I did some podcast stuff with it at one point just to experiment, and oh man, it took forever to do the training, but I guess that's better than it used to be.
It's gonna be the episode called Tim's on Vacation, but his assistant's taking over.
The funny thing is, it'd take longer to type in and all that versus yeah. Well, let's see. Anything? What other topics did you want to cover? I know there's some things just like general iPad usage out in the world. Yeah. Like, what other things did you want to dive into?
Man, there's really not much. I mean, have you watched like some of those old iPad apps or ads back in the day? Like,
it's been a bit. I remember the What's a Computer ad. Yeah.
To me, that feels still like a true iPad ad to this day of like, what is a computer? And what can this slab of glass do? And that's the thing I think I find is so interesting of like, it could be a POS system, it could be checking in, it could be a patient charting system, it could be teaching your kid how to talk, it could be used for pilots for maps, airways, flight planning. I mean, the iPad is way more versatile than a Mac, and to me, I think that's the beauty of the iPad.
Yeah.
And the downfall of the iPad at the exact same time. But I think nobody's coming close to that. Not even like looking at like Android 16 with Material 3 Expressive, which that's weird. I don't know if you've ever looked into that.
No, I mean, it's wild to me just how fumbly, like, Google just did not at all try to compete with the iPad. Like,
yeah.
They really didn't, and I guess foldables is their foray into that. But like, oh my gosh, they're like $2,000 phones. Like,
yeah.
And
then like you look at like all these iOS 26 versus like Material 3 and how big of a difference designs are now. They actually they don't look the same, so it's very interesting what phones and tablets and everything are changing to, and it kind of reminds me of back when Windows 8 came out of like, here's a radical different design that I liked, but nobody else liked it.
Yeah, I was a fan of the Windows mobile phones. I had one not as my primary device, but just to play around with it. It's like, this is pretty nice. It's Metro design.
Yep, the Nokia Luma, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I had something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
A slide out keyboard and all that stuff. Yeah. Yep. Occasionally, I get the thing that I remember from the webOS days of touching the beaming and stuff over from device to device. I'll occasionally get that with my watch tapping my phone, and I'm trying to like send my own contact information to myself. It's like, what are you doing, Apple?
I miss those days. I miss HP back then.
Yeah.
Or it was Palm. Was it Palm or HP when they came out with?
HP bought the Palm webOS.
Yes. And they came out with that tablet, and
I have two of them. I have the white one that's 64 gigs, and I have the black one that was cheaper. That I bought up. I have like two beers. I have an unopened free 3 somewhere. It's like, let me buy up these things before they're unavailable. It's like,
it was weird. I got one of those, the tablet one, and it was like, they're like, hey, we need developers. And I was like, I'm not a developer, but I could say I'm a developer. And they're like, here, we're going to pay a $25 charge on your credit card. And I was like a young 20-year-old. And I was like, this is great. And they're like, here's a tablet. Just bring it back in like 2 months and we'll be fine. But it was great about that time of like, oh, here is a comparator to the iPad. Here's something that actually could have been real.
I love the webOS. What was that tablet called? It's a cool device, like the inductive charging. You had that going for it, and
what is
touchpad?
Touchpad, yes.
Yeah,
and all the weird settings and like the multitasking had. all the in how much that really defined what tablets are now and multitasking on iPhones and Android are now.
Yeah, no, webOS was such a magical experience, and yeah, I love the Veer, the little tiny one. You know, the magnetic adapter for your headphone jack it was a time. And I had to import my pre 3 because it wasn't released in America. I had to buy one from Europe or something.
And then there was Blackberries.
Yeah, I never owned one of those. So.
Really?
Never, no. I got an iPhone in 2007, and so I missed out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you ever own an Android device or anything?
I had a Nexus 6, I think. I still have it somewhere.
The tablet ran, right?
No, the phone might be the Nexus S. Yeah, it was like the second Nexus. Oh, there you go.
Like Nexus,
yeah,
the Nexus tablet. I know this thing turns on.
But yeah, at some point, yeah, I had one of the Nexus phones, and I think it was called the Nexus. But yeah.
Okay, nice. They just don't make phones like they used to.
They don't. Yeah, it was such a fun time back in the. Yeah, at one point I owned a G4 Cube that I had modded to run Leopard. I took out the graphics card and replaced it with something that could run Leopard on it. It's such a fun Apple product. You take it out, it's like a bomb. Like you're extracting like the whimsy of that device is just it's so delightful.
The James Bond.
So delightful, yeah. You can like access all the different parts and components. Like it's so cool.
And then you had like I remember my first Mac the first Mac I can remember mentally was like the Jolly Ranchers, all those fun ones, and then it turned into like the eMacs and the iMacs and those.
I love the lamp one was cool. We had those a lot at our university when I went, and the base plate of the old iMac that was the lamp was so beautiful. The stainless steel plate that had the Apple logo embroidered on it. It's like, oh, this is so nice.
Did you see someone posted like Mastodon last week about one of the lamp ones running liquid glass on it?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, and I was reading the Apple in China book, or the Audible version of that. Some really interesting things in there, and yeah, it does talk about why that iMac was so short-lived and all that. Yeah,
I love that thing.
It's great. Yeah, no, yeah, computers used to have personality.
Yes, and not be space gray and silver.
Yep, totally. Well, yeah. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I'm good. I don't know if maybe if you ever heard. Have you ever heard of the guy named Hendy the Business?
I have not.
Okay, this is a guy I think is very interesting on the iPad. He is a music producer. He makes songs for like Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, Drake, and like all these people. He makes beats from time to time on an iPad. His YouTube channel is really not popular anymore. He's not active as much.
Yeah.
But he used to do like silent beat making, and he would make it all from the iPad and talk about his iPad setup and everything. And it was very interesting to see someone in the music world do all these things, even if it's like an iPad Mini or an M1 iPad. And it's like, wow, someone's doing this, and it sounds great. You would never know it's an iPad.
No.
And it's all these YouTubers that are doing weird things with iPad. This makes me happy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And there's a lot of them out there. I've had on your list of different, kind of people that you're inspired by. Had Will Patterson on the podcast. I'm not sure if I know of Canoopsy. I'm not sure if I've actually had him on or not yet.
I think so. And then Fernando Silva, I think he works at 95Mac now. That's like the video person.
Yeah.
He's also another one of those like iPad lovers. And you just see a lot of people that nobody ever talks about that is like, hey, I use an iPad. I think I found another person yesterday, and I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Like, what's he doing on this? And
totally.
It's great.
Yeah. No. It's fun to just browse YouTube and see what people are up to. It's like, yeah, there's new voices from time to time, and yeah. Well, yeah, where can folks follow you, and anything you want to promote before we wrap it up?
That's a good question. I don't even know where people can follow me at. I need to figure that out.
Yeah, I know. The whole bifurcated social media now.
Yeah. I guess Mastodon. Mastodon would be the biggest, and it's at Matthew Poplin at iOSdev.space.
Cool.
Mastodon's weird.
It's
Yeah.
very weird. The servers and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so much for your time tonight. This is great, kind of having this kind of free-ranging discussion. I always love those, and yeah, a lot of fun tangents tonight.
Oh yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, that's my interview and discussion with Matthew, all about iPadOS 26 and a bunch of other just fun random things. Make sure to check out Matthew on Mastodon. I'll link it in the show notes. And you can support this podcast over at patreon.com/iPadPros or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, I'll talk with everyone real soon.